It was 1974, and nearing Halloween was a cold and chilly night for the people of Haddonfield, Illinois. A day before the holiday, some mental patients were able to escape from the hospital in which they were confined. The next day, all seems normal in Haddonfield. Kids were out, people were partying, and eating cheap Halloween candy. However, for one person, a young girl named Lori Strode, this night, October 31st, would be the day her life changes forever. During the evening, everything seemed well. Nothing was amiss. She was at her friend's house babysitting for the night. Little did she know that on that night, she would be stalked and attacked by a person known as Michael Myers, or his more commonly known persona, the Shape. He would stalk her and kill 3 of her friends before going for Lori herself. As her book would later state on the matter, the only reason she escaped from the evil that was the Shape was because of Dr. Loomis, who she said, quote, "He saved me because he knew as much as I knew what he was. He's not human. He is the embodiment of pure evil and saved me from it." After that night, he would be placed back into a mental hospital for the next 40 years when Lori, according to her book, would spiral into a paranoia and fear. And a quote, "I used to believe after that night that the boogeyman would chase me, that I would become another victim of his. But no, I wouldn't let him take me unless I got the bastard first." And then later she would say, "I always knew deep down I was using my fear and paranoia and bad habits to not have to deal with the trauma from that night. I became my own monster, and I don't know if I can ever forgive myself for that." After some time, she would get married and start a family, although in an interview in her book, she got divorced, most likely from her coping mechanisms and bad tendencies. And her kids would be taken from her when they were young, due to concerns over her extreme measures of preparing them for the real world. As Lori would state, in 2018, it was just another Halloween night, while for everyone else, it was the same as it had been before the Haddonfield massacres. For one, not only was it a reminder of all that she lost due to the presence of one man. During the early hours of the night or two after Halloween, a bus crash would let the one known as Michael Myers escape once again and head into Haddonfield. This night was now known as the Haddonfield Massacre, which is used to describe the 3 or 4 nights Michael was able to be free and kill as many people as he could. While we do not know how many people were killed, we do know that it was dozens, and Michael was presumed dead after an encounter of the townspeople, which left him badly injured. A couple years later, in 2022, would be different, as while there was a massacre, most of it was caused not by Michael, but by a kid named Corey Cunningham, who in 2019 accidentally killed a kid and was excommunicated from the town of Haddonfield, becoming a new boogeyman. As Lori would describe in her book, Corey was a nice kid at first. Shy and all that. But the more I looked at him, I saw him, Michael and that boy. And everyone told me I was crazy for thinking such a thing. But I knew it all though. I wonder, was he always like this? A secret serial killer? Or did the town do this to him? And corrupted him that Michael was able to take advantage of him? I guess we will never know the true answer. During the years after the 2018 massacre and 2022, where Lori was able to heal and move on, according to her, she even stated to feel like a teen all over again before the initial massacre. While we don't know the details of Michael's death, during one final battle in 2022, things were put to an end as she was able to subdue Michael and drive him where he got crushed by some heavy machinery. When all was said and done, Lori wrote a book that she says helps her cope, and she wants to share her story to see if maybe, just maybe, it would help someone else.